In this video, you will discover the 10 ways you can take psychedelics legally. Number 10 is to attend a ceremony. Psychedelic ceremonies are not only legal in the Amazon rainforest, not only in Peru or Brazil. You can also attend them in many other countries, including some states of the US, Europe and Africa. In Amazon, the most common types of ceremonies are with ayahuasca and kambo. In Africa, ibogaine ceremonies are the most common, and in Europe and US, it is kind of a mix of everything. Number 9 is to take LSA containing seeds. LSA is a psychedelic of the lysergamide family, and it is incredibly similar structure-wise and effects-wise as LSD. And two types of seeds contain a huge amount of LSA. These are Hawaiian baby wood rose and Moringa glory. What is fantastic about these is that they are incredibly physically safe. As well as mentally safe, LSA is actually more gentle than LSD, but also these seeds are legal in almost every country of the world. So LSA is a great option. Just make sure not to eat before you take the seeds, because unlike LSD, LSA is incredibly nauseating and can make you vomit very easily. Number 8 are other legal psychedelics. I want to put this in there because there are some psychedelics that will make you trip and that are legal, but at the same time I do not recommend taking most of them, if any of them. These include Amanita muscaria, nutmeg, Syrian rue, nitrous oxide. Also there is datura, but do not take datura if you wish to remain sane. Like datura has caused permanent damage, both physical and emotional, to so many people. Amanita muscaria also is a deliriant. It is not as dangerous as datura. In fact, Amanita muscaria tends to be pretty safe, and some tribes used to eat it as a source of calories. Nitrous oxide I wouldn't take either because it tends to be addictive as hell, and also it has a lot of potential for neurotoxicity, especially when you take it the wrong way, which most people do. And on top of that, most people are already deficient in vitamin B12, and nitrous oxide depletes you of that so fast. Nutmeg also tends to be unpleasant and it has some long-term side effects. So from the list, I would only be interested in Syrian rue, which works great in combination with some other psychedelics. I may try Amanita muscaria once or twice in the future, but other than that, I would just stay away from these. Number 7 though is buying research chemicals. Now this one is only semi-legal. In most countries, you can legally buy research chemicals, but only for research purposes. So you have to consent to the website that you will not consume them. But then whether or not anybody will care is a different story. I have ordered from these websites multiple times. I have taken the drugs and I am fine. But that doesn't mean that I encourage you to do that. Not at all, it will get my video demonetized. Be aware that not all research chemicals are legal in your country. Always look at the schedule list for your country you live in. And also be aware that there are some dangerous research chemicals. I would never encourage anybody to take NBOMEs. Always make a research on the safety profile of whatever it is that you are going to take. Don't risk it. There are so many other substances that there is no reason to take something you don't know whether it is safe or not. Number 6 is to travel to Amsterdam or to some other place where drugs are legal. For Europeans, Amsterdam seems to be the best way to go. For Americans, I would say that either Mexico or Peru or other Amazonian states are the best. Fortunately, many of these substances are becoming legalized or at least decriminalized in many countries very fast. Until then, you can always travel to countries where the laws around drugs are more liberal. Number 5 is holotropic breathwork. This breathing technique was actually discovered by an LSD researcher, Stanislav Grof, because they banned the research on LSD. Stanislav believes that the holotropic trip is comparable to that of MDMA, and nobody can ever take away from you the ability to breathe unless they are waterboarding you, in which case that is trippy enough. Number 4 is therapies. As of 2021, you can already undergo a therapy with ketamine and soon enough you will be able to do the same with MDMA or psilocybin. In fact, there already are places in the world where you can legally take psilocybin in the therapeutic setting, and I believe that this is more beneficial than taking these substances at ceremonies, because the setting will be way more under control, you will likely feel more comfortable, and there is way less potential for harm. Number 3 is that if you are lucky enough, you may have the ability to become a part of some scientific research, but you may first have to suffer from some measurable illness so that they can get you in, so that they can study the results. So if you suffer from PTSD or depression or autism or other illnesses that psychedelics might help treat, and you live in some reasonably liberal country, look on the internet. You may find a research center that is looking for participants to participate in their studies. There is a reasonable chance that there will be that option, because there are more and more centers that are hiring participants, because there is more and more research being done on psychedelics. Number 2 is a darkness retreat. Well, you cannot legally take psychedelics on a darkness retreat, but nobody sees you. No, what I'm trying to say is that darkness, and specifically the absence of light, can make you trip. Because during the first couple days, let's say 5 days, you will accumulate a lot of melatonin, and then you will need to sleep less and less. Therefore, the melatonin will accumulate more and more, and after a while, it will start turning into DMT. Around day 13, you should be tripping balls 24/7. Some people start tripping as soon as at day 4. I went through 7 days of darkness with fasting, and I have not had any intense visuals that you would have on DMT, but I had some of 5-MeO DMT effects, meaning that my mind was definitely altered in a way. And when I was leaving the retreat, I got the most beautiful visuals ever. I remember looking at my hand and being like, whoa, this is beautiful. Then I started crying for 5 minutes. Then I looked at a tree and it took me another 5 minutes to stop crying at how marvelous it is. I physically couldn't stand, but it's not because of the light, because it was too exhausting or something. It was because of how beautiful the world was. The visuals were 20 times more beautiful than anything I have ever seen on any psychedelic. And number 1 is to wait until psychedelics are legalized. It is happening, and this renaissance is just a matter of time. Sooner or later, people will have access to these beautiful substances to explore their consciousness, and they will not need to fear getting arrested or getting laughed at or choosing an impure substance and dying because of it. Psychedelics are about to become legal in so many countries in the following decade. We just have to be patient and look for ways to contribute to this movement at the same time. I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and share this video if you found it helpful.